Hi there, and thanks for joining us. Our first episode of 2025. Hope you had a great holiday. Are you ready to start your 2025 Irish research? Well, we've got a lot planned, not only for the month of January, but also for the year. And we're going to be talking about some of the webinars that we've got coming up for this year as well. So if you're ready to go, let's get right to it. And our first Irish Saturday of the year will be held on January 11th. So stop on by the Hoffman Research Library, which is located at Minnesota Genealogy Center in Mendota Heights, Minnesota. Here's an opportunity to get some of your Irish research questions answered. The Minnesota Genealogy Center is located at 1385 Mendota Heights Road, Suite 100. You can also stop by the library during regular business hours. And to find out more about the library and the hours of operation, go to the website at mngs.org. And our first webinar for 2025 will feature Mark Thompson. His topic is called Using Artificial Intelligence to Research Documents and Letters. The presentation will be held on January 4th. This is a virtual-only presentation. The webinar will begin at 10:30 a.m. and will last until noon Central Time. Artificial intelligence can assist you in analyzing and researching your family's personal archives on paper or online. Whether you need to summarize large documents to easily identify names and relationships, or to develop a cast of characters, or timeline in complex documents, AI tools can help you research more efficiently and effectively. Get familiar with terms like chat, GPT, Gemini, Claude, and more. Mark will explain how AI can lighten the load of research and help you reveal rich history in your family archive. You can register on the IGSI website at irishgenealogical.org. The IGSI had some great webinars in 2024, and they've got more planned for 2025. I recently had a chance to speak to Walt Rothwell, who is the co-president of the IGSI, and Walt also assists in coordinating these webinars throughout the year. He talked about how the IGSI began hybrid webinars in 2024, in other words, live and remote sessions simultaneously. These are the first live presentations since the beginning of the pandemic, and they have more hybrid sessions planned for 2025, along with some very interesting presentations.
5 years ago, it wasn't unusual to get an audience of live attendees in our area of Minneapolis of 100 to 200 people. And I think that in most parts of the country, that would be pretty unusual now. So we're trying to rebuild our live audience and increase our reach to local and regional groups who might travel for a conference.
Where are we in 2025? What can we expect?
It's a very exciting year for us. I mean, in January, we have a webinar scheduled with a speaker who is new to us, but a very experienced speaker. His name is Mark Thompson, and he is a professional genealogist, but also a computer expert, and he's going to talk about the use of artificial intelligence in genealogy research. He's the co-host of a regular podcast, and that is extremely high quality and riding the edge of this wave of artificial intelligence that we're all seeing. Then in February, Fiona Fitzsimons will return. She's basically an annual favorite, and she'll be talking about Irish vital records in February at our webinar. And then in March, we have a full-day workshop that's going to be taught by presenters from Ireland, the Ulster Historical Foundation, and that will be broadcast as a hybrid event, and our live audience will be only a mile or so from where our library is located in Minnesota. So we're getting started with marketing and hoping to draw a regional audience for the live event as well as the virtual audience. Then in April, we have Judy Russell joining us for the first time, the legal genealogist, and she will be presenting a talk relating to legal practices and precedents around the world.
And you bring up a good one too, because in January we're talking about artificial intelligence and genealogy. That is so new, and it's almost unheard of up until recently. That would be an exciting webinar to sit in on.
Absolutely. In my own limited experience and limited expertise, as one example, I was with a discussion group here in my hometown, and we meet monthly, and we just had a live session where we were interacting with one of the artificial intelligence services, and somebody said, well, I have an ancestor who arrived at Castle Garden in 1837 and wound up in Minnesota. How would they have gotten to Minnesota? And when we asked that question, it outlined in detail with sources. Here are the canals that were navigable at that time. Here are the rail lines that existed at that time. And, it didn't solve the problem, but it gave a huge amount of material that you could then research and confirm.
For more information on all the upcoming webinars for 2025, go to the website irishgenealogical.org and click on Activities.
Welcome back to the Irish History Minute. I'm your host, Janelle, and today we'll be talking about the 1916 Easter Rising in Ireland. As we've touched on in previous videos, there were different uprisings during British control of Ireland, but it wasn't until the Easter Rising in 1916 that the tide really began to turn. Prior to the Easter Rising in 1914, a Home Rule bill passed the Parliament and was approved by British King George V. The bill excluded the 6 counties of what is now Northern Ireland. But with the start of World War I, Home Rule was put on the back burner for the British government. For many Irish, that wasn't acceptable. The Easter Rising wasn't huge, consisting of a group of about 2,500 armed members of Republican groups, such as the Irish Citizen Army. But support for Home Rule was much broader. The rebellion began with participants taking up positions across Dublin, where they read a proclamation declaring Irish independence and then refused to leave. This included locations in governmental or important buildings such as post offices, the College of Surgeons, City Hall, and Dublin Castle. The rebellion lasted only 6 days, but over 400 people died and about 2,000 were wounded. After the rebellion, those seen as the 15 leaders of it were executed, and more than 3,000 people were arrested, with 1,400 of them imprisoned. Most of the executions took place within just a few weeks of the uprising. It was the quick executions that really shocked the Irish and others around the world. In 1918, there was a general election in Ireland that was won by Sinn Féin, the Irish Nationalist Party. They declared Ireland a republic, and that led to the Irish War of Independence, which ended in 1921 when Michael Collins, a Sinn Féin MP, negotiated the Anglo-Irish Treaty that partitioned Ireland and Northern Ireland as they are today. However, that wasn't supported by all Irish who believed in Home Rule, who felt that no part of Ireland should remain a part of Great Britain. Thus, after the treaty, the Irish Civil War broke out and lasted from 1921 to 1923, ending in a ceasefire. And of course, as many of you likely know, this was not the end of political violence in Ireland, but it was the beginning of what would lead to the Republic of Ireland being established in 1948. Centuries of political unrest across Ireland has impacted everything from the mental health of Irish in both Ireland and the diaspora, and the records that we as genealogists are trying to access today to uncover details about our ancestors' lives. That's it for today's Irish History Minute from the Irish Genealogical Society International. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
And that's our episode, first one for 2025. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Walt Rothwell for the updates on the webinars so far for the upcoming year. And thanks to Janelle for her Irish History Minute. And thank you for joining us, and hope to see you again next time. All right, one more time. And Happy New Year. Are you a member of the IGSI? You're not, but you'd like to be? Here's all you have to do. Head to the website at irishgenealogical.org. There you'll find the Join link on the left side of the page, and that's where you can sign up and become a member. You can also register for any of the webinars this year on the website as well, and as a member you can also see past webinars from the previous year. And besides enjoying all the members' benefits, you can always sign in and go over many of the programs and services that the IGSI has to offer, and that would include viewing past webinars, surname interests, the e-newsletter. Would you like to be a volunteer at the IGSI? Here's all you have to do. Get on the website at irishgenealogical.org and scroll down to the volunteer link. There you can see all the options that are available to you. That would include helping out with the Irish Fest in Minnesota, or any of the social and educational programs, or you could even help out with the social media platforms and podcasts, or the SEPS magazine and Genealis newsletter. Just click on the Volunteer Now link and sign up. For more information about the Irish Genealogical Society International, go to the website at irishgenealogical.org. And for questions regarding the podcast, send an email to podcast@irishgenealogical.org.